Hello and welcome everybody from Vientiane, the capital of Laos, or more concretely, Lao People's Democratic Republic. Well, this is a communist country, one of the few socialist countries of the world openly endorsing communism. We can take as example North Korea, China, Cuba and Vietnam. The supreme leader of the country is also the general secretary of the only allowed party of Laos, which is called Lao People's Revolutionary Party, and he has absolute authority and controlling the whole government and the whole country. Well, the naming Laos comes from the French, because in 1893 they integrated the three Laotian kingdoms into French Indochina. They became a protectorate of French Indochina, and because 50% of the population of this territory was Lao, speaking the Lao language, the French considered naming this region as Laos. But it's very interesting that only 50% is really Lao nationality, and in the other 50% we can find more than 60 ethnic groups, so it's absolutely colorful. And it's very interesting that Laos has so many tribes, actually, so many ethnic groups. Local people call it Muang Lao or Pathet Lao, which literally means Lao country. Laos is the only landlocked country in Southeast Asia, and well, I also wanted to show you on the map where is Laos exactly. It is bordered by Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Myanmar and China. Laos history dates back to the 14th century, when the kingdom of Lan Xang was established by a Lao prince called Fa Ngum. His father and his family was exiled from the Khmer Empire, and they found their new home here, establishing a new kingdom called Lan Xang. This kingdom became wealthy and very rich soon, because it was a center, a hub of an economical trading route, and also from economical and cultural point of view it was very rich. But well, there were internal conflicts within the kingdom, and because of that it was separated in three kingdoms: Luang Prabang, Vientiane and Champasak. And these three kingdoms were united under the protectorate of the French Indochina in 1893, and well, they were not independent from that time. During the Second World War, the Japanese conquered this territory, but they left Laos in 1945. In that year, Laos gained independence, but just for a brief time, because it was recolonized by the French. And 4 years later, they gained autonomy, and in 1953, they actually gained complete independence. Well, Laos first introduced constitutional monarchy. This means that there was no supreme leader. There was a king. The first king of Laos was called King Sisavang Vong. In the 1960s there was a series of rebellions in Laos. There were fights between the Royal Lao Army and the communist North Vietnamese army. They were also supported by the local Pathet Lao guerrillas. They were local communist people backed by the Soviet Union. Laos was a key part of the Vietnamese War. Already in 1958, some parts of Laos were invaded and occupied by the North Vietnamese forces, and they used these regions, these parts of Laos, as a supply route against the South Vietnamese. So it was very important for the North Vietnamese to occupy these regions in Laos. Because of these reasons, the United States carried out several bombings of these occupied territories of Laos, where the Pathet Lao and the Vietnamese, the North Vietnamese forces were in charge. So you can imagine it was a very bloody conflict, because the US dropped here 2.1 million tons of bombs, and to compare it, the US carried out 2 million tons of bombs in Europe during the Second World War, but here in Laos 2.1 million tons of bombs, so it's more. And the New York Times also wrote about it, that if we consider how many bombs were exploded or carried out for one person of Laos population, then it's 1 ton of bombs for one people, and that's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely sad and bloody, and I cannot imagine how this Vietnamese war was, but well, I think this is a very sad moment of human history, and the United States was never punished regarding to these bloody fightings in the 60s and 70s. So yeah, it's absolutely incredible. So this makes Laos the most heavily bombed country of all human history, because it was the so-called Ho Chi Minh Trail. This trail was across the jungle connecting North Vietnam with South Vietnam, and it was a supply route, as I mentioned already, and they could even move trucks across the jungle on this route. This is how the North Vietnamese helped the South Vietnamese National Revolutionary Front, the Viet Congs. These Viet Congs were fighting in South Vietnam against the United States, and of course the North Vietnamese were supporting them. Currently there are 80 million bombs and mines scattered throughout Laos, and these are unexploded. This makes a large amount of land unable to cultivate, and because of unexploded ordnance, UXO, including mines, die or maim approximately 50 Laotians in each year. In 1975, the Pathet Lao overthrew the royalist government, and King Savangvatthana was exiled, and from that moment the country was named Lao People's Democratic Republic. Ever since then it's a communist country, and they formed very close ties with Vietnam. Of course, during these wars they were like brothers, they were fighting together, and well, because of that and because probably of the fear of re-establishing of the royal monarchical government, they also let Vietnamese advisors and Vietnamese armed forces to station here in Laos. And about this they also signed the treaty in 1977, and this also dictated the direction of the foreign policies of Laos, and they formed a very close relationship with Vietnam. The climate of Laos is a tropical savanna. It has a monsoon pattern, so it is not advisable that you travel here between May and October, because it is very rainy, and also dengue fever can occur, and also floodings. So it is recommended to come here in the dry season, which is from November until April, but is more recommended until March. So yeah, it is a very nice weather. Currently it is 29 degrees. I'm here in November of 2022. So yeah, this is what I also wanted to add as a travel advice. China was the biggest investor in the country, because they invested $5 billion between 1989 and 2016. Laos is rich in mineral resources. They mined here gold, lead, copper, zinc and many other minerals. Laos has a population of 7.2 million people, and the official language is Lao, which is in the language family Tai-Kadai, and the national sport is Muang Lao, which is very similar to Muay Thai. Now I am in the capital Vientiane. It has a population of 950,000 people. It is the largest city of Laos, and well, I forgot to mention that Laos in the ancient time was also called as the country of the 1 million elephants. And well, we will go to Luang Prabang, and there we will also spot some elephants. It will be absolutely amazing. That will be a separate vlog. Well, Vientiane is a French expression, a French naming of the city. In Lao language it was called Vientiane, where Viang in Lao language means walled city, and Chang is related to the Sanskrit word called Chandana, and this Chandana, it means Sental wood. So actually the city's name is the walled city of Sental wood. Well, I hope that you enjoyed these interesting historical facts about this for us very exotic country, and yeah, let's start with sightseeing and discover Vientiane. Lao people are very friendly. I could talk with some locals. Well, you cannot find many people who speak English and they cannot understand you. This happened also many times. I went to a local restaurant and they didn't understand much, but I was just making a sign that I want a soup, and well, they served me and they were very friendly. They were smiling and they also gave me a tea for free. I wanted to pay for it, but they didn't want. They rejected. And well, I also talked with some Lao people, and they said that everybody is very friendly and they like to do everything very slowly, and well, this is what I experienced until now. Well, on the airport the security was not so friendly. I googled before my trip that I can take airport shuttle from the Wat Tai International Airport to the city center. I asked the security guy where is the bus stop, and he said that there is no bus, only taxi. I think he was like defending the interest of the taxi drivers to make some money for them, but I never take a taxi. It's just yeah, my setting. I never like to take a taxi. And after I navigated on the maps, and I found out that there is a bus stop 500 meters far from the airport, so I needed to go out, but in the end I got a local bus, a minibus. I will insert now a video about it. It was really funny how we were driving with this local bus. This is the flag of Laos. I also wanted to give you some travel advices regarding to payment options. It is necessary to bring with you some US dollars and exchange them at a bank or exchange office, because it's a very contradictory information what you get from Google. Actually, it happened the same to me. I was misled. I searched about the accepted currencies in Laos, and I read that they accept US dollars everywhere, and some places also accept Thai baht, but this is not true actually. When I arrived here, only one supermarket accepted US dollars, and they give me a very bad exchange rate. So I really recommend to bring some cash with you and exchange it. Well, it's also an option to withdraw cash from the ATM, but there's a little commission. Well, probably depends on the bank, and also the bank is giving you a worse exchange rate. So this is why I recommend to just bring US dollars, and then you are totally fine. The home of the guardian spirit of Vientiane is the temple Wat Si Muang. Here we can find a very old city pillar, which is called the Lan Xang, and the locals believe that the guardian spirit is inside of this stone. So around this city pillar, a large ordination hall was constructed. Unfortunately, this ordination hall, this sim, this temple, was burned to the grounds in 1828, so it was reconstructed in 1915. Only an old stone Buddha survived this inferno, and it has a very interesting ceremony. You need to lift off a pillow in front of this Buddha statue and mentally ask an unanswered question or form your wishes, and the Buddha will fulfill your request or answer your questions. But for that you also need to give some gifts for this Buddha, some green coconuts, bananas, candles or incense. Usually local people give to the Buddha only 2 of these listed 4 items. So yeah, we will visit this ordination hall, and we can talk about the temple complex, because we can find here more hundreds of Buddha statues and more buildings. So yeah, let's walk around and wonder about these extremely beautiful golden decorated buildings. This is the Sim, which is the ordination hall. And this is the Emerald Buddha. Here in the middle we can see the Lac Muang, the city pillar, that in the yellow clothes it is protected like that. It is more than 1000 years old and probably dating back to the Khmer period. So this pillar is located in the rear hall, and is believed that it had religious purposes already in that Khmer period, 1000 years ago. It is wrapped in a sacred cloth, and in front of it is a carved wooden stele with a seated Buddha, as you can see in the middle. Many Buddha statues here. In European eyes, it's a very strange thing, but probably here not. The Buddhist monk was blessing the car of a guy and probably his wife, and it was very funny for me that the monk also got in the car, and he was honking 3 times. typical Southeast Asian cable chaos. It's absolutely incredible. I never understood why do they need so many cables. Probably everybody has its own cable. Absolutely incredible. And you can see such a thing also in Thailand, in Vietnam and in Cambodia. I don't know what is this, it was not on my list. Well, of course there are many Buddhist temples in Vientiane. I checked the map, it says that it's a city pillar shrine, but actually we saw the city pillar already in Wat Si Muang. So I don't think that's it. Well, I don't use Google Maps because I don't have internet connection. So it is Maps.me, which is an offline map, so it can be wrong. Anyway, it is closed, so we cannot go inside. We can just admire this beautiful building from outside. Absolutely amazing architecture. This is the Mekong River, which forms a large part of the western boundary with Thailand. So actually on the other side of the river you can see Thailand over there. Absolutely amazing. Well, I thought that this river is more muddy, but well, now we are in the dry season. It is November of 2022, and from November until April it is the dry season. After that it comes rainy monsoon season. This is why the river is not flooded now. I was also thinking that I will make the introduction of the vlog over there, but I was a little bit scared that maybe a crocodile will jump out of the river, and nobody is here, absolutely nobody on this riverside. So yeah, I thought that I will pick a better location. Behind me you can see the Pathet Lao Victory Monument, which is one of the main sightseeing attractions of Laos. It was constructed between 1957 and 68 in order to celebrate that Laos gained its freedom. It's not anymore a colony of France, and they wanted to make something similar like the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. So as you can see, it is very similar as the Arc de Triomphe. And it has a very interesting story. The Americans donated a lot of money to Laos in order to construct an airport, and they decided to construct this monument instead. It was 63 million Laos kips. This is the national currency of Laos. Well, if you calculate it with the current exchange rate to euro, it is only 4,000 euros. But back in the 50s you can imagine that this was a very big sum, a very lot of money. So this was designed after the Arc de Triomphe, and they also used the traditional Lao technique, Lao architectural design, and also carvings of Hindu gods and very interesting decorations for this monument, in order to be proud of the independence of Laos. Well, talking about Laotian kip, it is a very interesting exchange rate, because 100,000 Laotian kip is just, well, in my currency, 28 Romanian lei, which is almost 6 euros. So this is how you can imagine. It's like $6, 6 euros approximately. Well, now the exchange rate between euro and dollar are 1 to 1, almost the same. Because Laos invested the money of the airport to build this monument. This is also called as a vertical runway. This is the funny nickname which was given to the Wat Mixai victory monument. At the feet of the Vientiane Arc de Triomphe we can find a lot of local sellers. They are selling souvenirs and clothes, Laotian stuff. Well, it's very common that at the site of the touristic attractions local people come to sell their stuff. Unfortunately it is closed. We cannot go up. We will miss the view of the main avenue of Vientiane. And at the end of the avenue we can find the presidential palace, which cannot be visited by the tourists. Of course, it is the palace of the supreme leader of the Lao People's Democratic Republic. The monument has 5 towers. Well, from this angle we cannot really see it unless we don't climb to the top, and that's impossible now because the stairs are closed. These 5 towers represent the 5 Buddhist principles of thoughtful amiability, flexibility, honesty, honor and prosperity. Next to the Wat Mixai victory monument you can find a small park called Wat Mixai Park. So if you want to sit down and rest a little bit, chill a little bit, then it's recommended to come here. And you can also find here a small kiosk if you want to have some refreshments, but also recommended if you just want a little shade. Well, I came here in November and it's 27-28 degrees. Not very hot, but it's still hot for me. Well, I like hot, it's no problem, but probably because I came from East Europe and there is very cold now. I think this 27 degrees also too much for me. The Pathet Lao temple is a symbol of Buddhist religion and nationalism in Laos. Well, I will tell you why. Already in the 3rd century, some Indian missionaries brought here a relic of Buddha, a breastbone of Buddha. This is the legend, and they constructed here a stupa, and the breastbone was kept in this stupa. In the 13th century, the Khmers also constructed here a bigger temple. So because that Khmer style temple fell into ruins, King Setahirat ordered the reconstruction of it, and well, actually it was a huge temple which was constructed, and this was in 1566, after King Setahirat moved the capital from Luang Prabang-ba to Vientiane. It was a very big invasion from Siam, from the current Thailand, in 1828, and the temple was completely destroyed. The French colonists were very nice, we must admit it, that they wanted to reconstruct this building for the Laotians, and they did it in the beginning of the 20th century, and for that they used the drawings of a very famous adventurer and explorer called Louis de la Porte, a Frenchman, and well, the Lao people were not so happy with this reconstruction, because in the 30s they made some more renovations. But this was not a good idea, because well, they wouldn't know what will happen in the future. It was another big conflict, the Franco-Thai War actually, and during an air raid the temple was destroyed again, so it was reconstructed later after the Second World War again. Yeah, so because of this, it is a symbol of the Lao nationalism, because they needed to reconstruct many times, and they did it successfully. Behind me you can see a golden colored tower which is called a stupa, and well, it is just colored golden, but the pinnacle of this tower is pure gold. So yeah, let's go inside and discover this very beautiful temple and the main sightseeing attraction of the whole country of Laos. Buddha from the 17th century. The stupa is surrounded by walls and you need to pay 30,000 kip entrance fee. But also next to the stupa we can find many beautiful temples, and I will show you some of them. This is also absolutely splendid. Huge reclining Buddha. Now we'll visit the oldest temple of Vientiane, which is called Wat Sisaket. It was constructed between 1819 and 1824 by the last monarch of the Kingdom of Vientiane, Chow Anu. Behind me you can see the main temple, the ordination hall, which is called the Sim, and it is not allowed to take a photo or video inside, so I cannot show to you that there is a very old Buddha statue from the 13th century, from the Khmer period, and it is called the Naga Buddha because this Buddha statue is sitting on a cobra deity, and this cobra deity is called Naga. There are also very beautiful murals on the wall, absolutely amazing, and I'm telling you this only as an information because well, I cannot take any recordings, but it's really worth if you come here to go inside and wonder about these very old things. On the western side of the temple we can find a series of Buddha images, Buddha statues. These are more than 200 years old, and some of them are damaged because of the Lao rebellion from 1828. This one is also in a very bad shape. Here we can also find some smaller Buddha statues without a head. Absolutely old statues. In the evening it's worth to visit the Vientiane night market. You can find here a lot of local clothes, shoes, and also food, jewelry, everything. Moreover, if you like negotiating and talking with the locals, it's a good place to do it. Prices are not expensive. Wat Mixai is one of the most important temples in Laos, because already in the 16th century King Seta Hirat ordered the construction of a temple here, but that one was destroyed during the very heavy war against the Siamese, currently Thailand. And the historians also proved that in the 3rd century there was already a religious site here, so this makes also this place very special. And a lot of monks come here to study. Actually, this place is also very famous for teaching monks, so it serves also as a school. The Hawng Sangkhalat, which is the deputy patriarch of the Lao monastic order, has his official residence here and presides over the Buddhist Institute, a school for monks who come from all over the country to study Dhamma, the Buddha's teachings. The temple's entrance is also remarkable with these two huge elephants. This is the Church of the Sacred Heart, or in French Sacré-Cœur Church. Well, it was constructed in the French colonial period and is still standing from 1928. Still some Catholics are living in Vientiane, and it is closed, so we cannot go inside, but it looks a very typical Catholic church, probably not so spectacular. This is the Lao National Culture Hall. It is also a theater. Sometimes musical and dance performances are held here, and everything must be approved by the Communist Party. You cannot just play everything. This is about the friendship between Vietnam and Laos. You can also see the flag of Vietnam over there, next to the flag of Laos. Wat Mixai is not a special temple, but it is just next to my hotel, so that's why I am including it to my vlog. And this entrance gate is absolutely splendid, richly decorated. And the two guardian giants, this is how they call it, officially Nyak, this is the name of these figures. They also look very grotesque and very interesting, so I thought let's make a recording about it. So we have two Nyaks for this Wat, for this temple. Similarly to Thai language, Wat means temple, but I think you already figured it out because I showed you many Wats in this vlog. Very beautiful. So this was the complete travel film about Vientiane. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if that's so, please subscribe to my channel if you didn't do it yet. It's very important to push on the bell icon, because this is how you get notified about the new contents. Have a nice day and goodbye.